Right. I deliberately designed today's program to be like this. There's so much political talk making the rounds. It's becoming strenuous. It's becoming traumatic. And so I said that for a change, let's take it nice and easy and light. So I decided to bring in my very good friend, Lillian Amah-Aluko. No, she's an actress. For me to just have fun. Lillian, good morning.
Good morning, Uncle Jimmy.
How are you?
Very well, thank you.
We're on Facebook and we're on YouTube Live. I mean, so you can just tune in to see what we're doing. Let me also say that apart from being an actress, she's a producer. She's an executive producer. There are two different things. The executive producer usually is the one who handles the whole project. Is that right? And probably even the financing. So you can get cash. So put a call through to her. And she's also an author. Okay, I have one of her books here, Dreams of Yesterday. And this was written when?
It was published 2015.
2015. Okay, mosquitoes didn't let me read it. I just got it yesterday, but I'm going to find time. I like the theme though, because this has something to do with the Civil War, right?
Correct.
Correct, yes. Okay. Before we start talking professional, let me just pick your brain on a few things around. I'd like to know what you think, because I know you're not an activist, but you have an active mind. And I'm sure you must have been interested in what happened last week Saturday when we had the elections and subsequently the announcement of the results. So how did you feel about that?
Totally disillusioned.
Really?
Yes.
Do you think you'll be voting next Saturday?
I certainly will.
Oh, that's good. Because I had thought that a lot of people who had gotten disillusioned, would end up not voting. So I'm happy to see the determination in your voice to say you certainly will. But there's something though I'd like to find out. I'm asking myself, would I be participating in the election in which they are the same actors again, the same rec, the same, the same INEC staff? You don't feel uncomfortable with that?
I'm totally uncomfortable, but
yes,
if we want to change the status quo,
yes,
we have to continue pushing. If we all sit back and say, "Oh, this is what they will do, this is what they will do," and then we don't make an effort,
just play to their hands.
It'll be exactly a clean sweep for them. So I'm saying to everybody who feels the way I feel,
yes,
go out there on Saturday. Make your voice count. Regardless of who you're supporting, please make your voice count. Support whoever you're supporting with your full chest.
Well, talking about full chest, one of the things that I thought would disturb people is the threat of violence. But I was pleased this morning when I saw a video. Guess who was in that video addressing Lagosians? MC Oluomo. And he was, of course, he was asking for votes, but then he was advocating peace, and he actually did some kind of a public apology, to say that if they've offended anybody, I don't know who that would be, that they're sorry, but please vote for them and so on and so forth. That's his own party, the APC. So I don't know if that guarantees that we won't have the same level of violence that we had the last time, since, well, at least somebody we think has some influence on these things is now being apologetic.
I don't know about being apologetic. I think it's all a ploy to sway people
to their side.
Yes.
So after the elections, you think it might be business as usual?
It definitely will be business as usual unless something drastic is done to stop it. People do these things in Nigeria because they know for sure they'll get away with it.
Yes.
Nobody gets punished. We saw videos of people in polling booths telling people, if you vote for XYZ, I'm going to deal with you. I'm going to see your vote. I will check it.
You even still have a lot of that now.
It's up there. So nothing was done to those people. They were not masked. We saw their faces. Do the police want to tell me they don't know where they are? They don't know to pick them up? If we saw 2, 3, 4 people arrested for such intimidation, then other people will take a cue. But I'm going to go out there to vote, holding my heart in my hands and looking around me. I'll be constantly on the alert.
Was there any form of violence where you voted last time?
No.
No, it was nice.
It was nice and peaceful.
You know, you live in Big Man area now.
Uncle Jimi, please don't throw me under the bus.
I'm not giving out your address, but you know, big people down there. We went downtown for Suliri.
Really has its elite areas, but
I'm not there. I'm with my people. But this is a tricky question to ask because you know, education and exposure sometimes limits you. Sometimes I wish I had a raw mind. Let me explain what I'm saying. Okay, so I'm going to ask you now: do you have confidence in the legal process that, you know, the parties have told now? Do you think that, you know, it would bring the expected result?
I have had an experience with our judicial system.
Okay.
And a good deal of it is disappointing. It's supposed to be the fallback for everybody, right? But there's a lot of buying and selling going on in that space.
I like
At
the
the
way you put
same
it.
time,
Yes.
there are judges, lawyers, magistrates with integrity.
Yes.
Who go out there to do what they swore to do. So with the fact that there are still some decent people in that space, we can't give up hope. Because once the judicial system fails, it's anarchy.
It's a failed state.
Everybody will start helping themselves.
Okay, so you advise everybody. I'm talking on your behalf. I hope I'm right. You're advising everybody to just chill. You know, to just take a chill pill. Go out next Friday and do the needful. Whoever you want to vote for.
Yeah.
The ethnic coloration bothers me. I don't know if it bothers you. The kind of things that have been said.
Totally sad.
Very sad. Very sad.
I have seen or heard people that I hold in high esteem, my peers, people I know, and some of the things that people are saying, I'm like, we're not talking about whichever tribe, okay? We're talking about right and wrong.
Yes.
Our moral compass seems to it has gone to hell.
It's a bit more traumatic for me because all of a sudden, people I grew up with, right, like say from the age of 10, I discovered that if one of us, this is in a group, if one of us should run to the other person's house at a time of danger, that door won't open. Because of things, these are things that expose who your real friends are.
Correct.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Correct.
I discovered that within the group, maybe there are one or two, because of all this coloration now, had it been that they were chasing him and he headed for that one's house, he wouldn't know. And guess what? You now find other people being complicit. So what do you have?
That's what I was going to talk about.
The conspiracy of silence?
The fence sitters.
Yes.
I was having a chat with a friend of mine. We grew up together too. And we're talking last night, chatting, not speaking, and about these things, because we belong to a group too, and we saw a lot of it. So I said to her that a lot of people are silent.
Yes.
There were a few people, arguing for each side. But I said a lot of people are silent. And the reason why they are silent is not far-fetched. They don't want to identify, or they don't want to be identified. And it's those kinds of people that allow things like genocide to happen.
Yes. I remember saying yesterday, a lot of people forward all these things without knowing what they're doing. And I've told them, don't forward those things to me. But I'm going to keep records. Because if this process, I hope it doesn't, if it ends up in a conflagration, I'll be the first at the human rights, whatever, to forward all these things to them.
And see where they came from.
People are doing these things without knowing the danger they are putting themselves in. forwarding, because it's hate speech.
It is hate speech.
It's hate speech, and it's not the Nigerian government that will come after you at that point in time. So I'm using this, moment to appeal to our people, for God's sake. There's a candidate, for example, in Lagos here, okay? The guy is a bona fide Lagosian, but because his mom,
suddenly he's now an Igbo. In fact, some people are calling him IPOB.
I don't. Do you know? Now, look at the irony. The people who are accusing him are not even indigenous of Lagos.
Oh.
I mean, if you wanted to split hairs down the line, and since it's gotten to that, I'm not going to be a part of that. Yeah. My best friend, I'm always happy to say that my best friend is somebody who saved my life at a crucial moment way back in 1975. He's from the East when everybody abandoned me. I mean, I don't know where these things are. I've always grown up. I think it also has to do with people's narrow-mindedness.
Yeah.
And people are always looking for a shelter under ethnic and religious and whatever. But we'll leave that and let's talk of better things.
Yeah.
You think we
nicer
should?
Things. It's been an unpleasant
Let's
week.
talk about acting. The one thing you did, and we should thank your parents and you, the one thing you did that anybody should have done is you went to the University of Lagos.
Great Akokite.
Not only did you go once, you went twice. You did your master's there.
Yes, correct.
You went twice. How did you get into acting? Did you do theatre arts?
No, I didn't. I read English.
You read English, just like okay. Because I also read English, so we are almost twins now. At very Beji. Did you always want to act, or you just found yourself, picking it up?
I was born under the star Gemini, right?
Uh-huh.
And I've wanted to be
That's a dangerous star.
I don't know about that. I've wanted to be a lot of things.
Okay.
And I've achieved all of them. Only
Really?
one that I haven't done.
Okay.
At some point, I wanted to be a doctor. That's the only one I haven't done.
Okay.
So maybe in another life, I'll
Yes.
start from there.
Well, you can still go to College of Medicine. They'll take you.
I'm too old. I wanted to be an actor when I saw The Sound of Music.
As far back as then.
Yes. I was a child. We lived in Freetown.
You wanted to be Maria.
I didn't want to be Maria. I wanted to be those little girls.
Okay.
Yeah. I just fell in love. And I've seen that movie. The last time I saw it was December last year.
Yeah, I saw it about 3 months.
I keep going back to it.
Mm.
But when I watched that movie, and I watched it on a big screen in the cinema.
My
parents used to take us Sundays to go watch.
Which of the cinemas did you watch it? Plaza?
I can't remember.
Plaza or Roxy in Apapa?
No, not in Nigeria, in Freetown.
Oh, in Freetown.
Yeah.
Okay.
So when I came out of that theater, oh, glory. I dreamt, I kept dreaming of being one of those children. So fast forward down the line, I was back in Nigeria, I was in school, and Living in Bondage came out. Oh, before that, I mean, all those NTA...
okay, For Better, For Worse, and all those things. Music Against My Soul.
I used to follow them avidly. And then I want to do this.
So did you train? Did you train to be an actress?
Actually, no formal training.
Really?
The only thing I went to UCLA to do was production.
Which is UCLA now?
Los Angeles.
For 1 second, I thought it was UCH.
University of California, Los Angeles School.
Okay, so you did production there?
Yes.
A full course there?
Not a degree.
No, but
yes, a full
enough
certificate course. Yes.
So you're a certified producer.
Yes, I am.
I'm glad to hear that, because there are too many people straying into acting and production. The way these things are now. Some films are being shot on a phone.
Yes, I've seen one.
Yes, I've been shot on a phone, and of course you can always see through it. So, what was the first movie you did?
Out of Bounds.
What role did you play?
Alero, Pastor Voke's wife. It was RMD's first production.
Okay.
He was the pastor.
Okay.
That was in 1990. It was released in 1998, I think.
So, at the end of it all, did you feel, was it your kind of character you had to actually get into the mold of another person?
I think the Alero character is just the person I am.
Did you kiss in the movie? Why was
Go
my
and
voice
watch
shaking?
it.
Why was my voice shaking?
Okay, Jimi, you are naughty, and I think you're determined to.
Okay, but do you do romantic scenes?
I'm an actor.
Yes.
Okay.
But some actors won't.
I do romantic scenes, but I don't do anything explicit.
So how far do you go?
I can peck, I can hug.
No full-blown kiss and things like that.
No. When you start going down that road, it's
because
not
you see, I've always wondered how. For example, I ask myself, if I were to do a movie and I have to do a romantic scene, won't I get involved? Won't I get carried away? I've not done it, at least. I've not. But it's something that just keeps going through my mind. One of the reasons why I'm not into acting, though, because I can mimic people and I can do, but my major problem is I'll always forget my lines. I'm not, in fact, I don't laugh there. Right from school, I've always been bad at what you call cramming, so I can't, I have a memory problem. My mind is too active. But
that's the thing. Acting is really not about cramming. It's about you getting into the skin of that character. You get into the skin of that character and you read your lines enough. You understand the character's motivation.
Yes.
It will come.
Do you think I can still act?
If you want to, I'm sure you can if you want.
Maybe I can act the role of a chief or something. maybe I should start acting by acting myself. Because there's some movie out there that has a Jimi Disu. That's what the name of the character is called.
Okay.
Yes, I think it's a movie produced by, is it Kunle Afolayan or something like that? Okay. And the lead actor there, his name is actually Jimi Disu. I wonder why he didn't call me to act that part. Sure, you give me a role in your next movie. I know you have a movie coming out very soon.
Yes.
What's that one called?
The Other One.
It's too late to put me into that one now.
No,
but what's the story? What's the story about the other one?
The other one is about life. It's about a family.
Yes.
There's also a bit of this ethnic thing. The woman is from one tribe. She married from another.
Yes.
Her family didn't like her choice, so they sort of.
So, and you're acting in that one?
Yes, I just had a minor role there.
Minor role. I think the last time you were here for what's it called now? Dear Bumi. I think you were on set then. Yes. I remember you had to rush off then. That's the time I should have sneaked in. Even if it does make me a guard. Let everybody say, oh, that's JD in that movie.
What we'll think about that.
I think I'll try. I'll try. What kind of training would I need? How to be calm in front of a camera, not look at the camera and things like that.
Yeah, some of those things you can actually pick up.
Yes.
We get doobies every time.
I'm smart. I'm a very smart guy, so I can. Okay, so that I'd be glad to. I'd be glad to when you're going to do a movie, find a role for me. It's nice to me in movies.
Okay.
And in any case, I'm getting close to wanting to retire from all these political things. I don't want to have a stroke one day. It's becoming too heavy. You get too involved.
Yes.
And
it takes its toll.
The only time I am happy when I'm in these studios, when I'm happy walking, happy is either Discourse now, if it's something light, or if I'm doing Dear Bumi. But I'm getting a bit tired of all these political things because the basics are not even met. The basics for a decent society. Let's be honest with ourselves.
Yeah.
I find it every day I come to review newspapers, the kind of things we'll be talking about. Results not being uploaded, beavers not. These are things I can't tolerate. I'm a private. I've never worked in government. I'm a private sector person, and performance is key. You don't get much of that. And then the other thing that bothers me is that too many of us are selfish. We think of ourselves no matter whose ox is God.
That is at the bottom. That underlines every problem Nigeria has. Okay,
let's talk about problems. Don't let me get worked up. I still have next week to face. It's the Discourse with Jimi, Disu. I have Lillian Amah-Aluko here. We're going to take a short break. Okay, we'll take a short break. When we come back, we'll open up our lines. And please, today is just a day of relaxation, okay? By the way, let me quickly tell you, Tuesday, 9 o'clock, Patu Tommy is going to be in this studio. Okay, and we'll be talking about the latest developments. So it's something you want to look forward to. We'll take a short break and we'll be back.
Cause I know say one day I go make up. Yes, I know say one day I go blow.
Turn that fear into victory. What are we doing today? Wait. Remember I get it.
Remember you see a wow on YouTube.
As in, all the latest ads.
So do it and see it.
You need him now.
Start do it on your own. And also, he's come and see how to do that. Well,
that all sounds be fun on
Get one YouTube video for 59 and 3 apps for 1 on the internet. Files that want it's our today. There's YouTube sale for everyone on the MTN network.
That's gonna kill me. Welcome back to the Discourse with Jimi, Disu, and I still have with me Lillian Amah-Aluko. She's here. She's an actress. Are you a playwright? Do you do stage plays?
I've tried my hands at it, but it's not my.
Sorry?
I've tried my hands at it, but it's not my strength.
It's not your strength. So that is out of it. Let's look at this book, for example, Dreams of Yesterday. Very quickly, what's it about? The story of love, sacrifice, and death, and the horror of the Civil War. Where were you?
I was a toddler.
The toddler. You know what? Even what we experience at the age of 1, if we are not careful, can't. Tell me, did you see anything traumatized in Emana?
Not that I remember.
Were you free down?
No,
You go to study now. You not say that. So no. Okay. Because it's a lot of people and some of the old ones to have what if something ever wants to happen. However, history has shown that some stuff like this could lead to a conflagration. But we'll talk about that some other time when we are talking politics. Let's get back to acting. So you've taken part in about how many movies now?
Honestly, I can't count. But
oh, really?
Yeah.
But which are the significant ones that you remember?
Out of Bounds is definitely significant.
Out of Bounds, yes.
The other one is significant.
Yes.
There was Hit and Run. There was She Devil. There was The Triangle. I don't know. There are just many. There are so many of them, and you tend to forget details as you go because there are so many. But there are many of them that I actually enjoyed working on, and I enjoyed the characters I played.
You know, I started in print journalism. I started in newspapers. And even now that I've come to radio, initially when I even started this one, I didn't want anything like television. I just wanted it to be the voice. But with the latest technologies, you can't run away from these things. So you have Facebook Live, and you have YouTube, and so on and so forth. But I tell you one, right from print journalism, I can't read what I've written and has been published. I can't read it again. And with this YouTube and whatever, I can't watch my programs again. I wonder, can you watch yourself in a movie?
I do, and I cringe every time I do.
Why did I do this? Why didn't I do that? You
all I see,
your greatest critic.
Yes, I see all the things I did wrong and all could have done better. Just like when I reread my books, I'm like, I should have written it like this. I should have done this.
But is there any difficulty in being an actor? Because I see you corrected me. I kept saying actress. You say actor.
Yeah, both
so I
words
think both words
apply.
are okay. But is there any difficulty because of people's perception? We can't run away from the fact that people believe that actresses are, they always say, they're readily available and stuff like that. You get all kinds of offers and this and that. Does it bother you?
The truth of the matter is it doesn't bother me because
If it bothers you, you won't do it anyway.
everybody's entitled to their opinion. Those whose opinion I value know the real me.
Yes.
So that's all that matters to me. You can't please the world, so just do you.
It's like on this job, a lot of people think they know you, they don't know they don't.
Yeah.
if people get to know what my private life is like, they'll be amazed. And I always tell people, don't judge me by these programs that we do. We're quarter to Nollywood here. So many things you have to do, so many things you have to say in certain words.
Yeah.
Yes, so the rules that guide all this, so you had no difficulty even growing up, when I say growing up, moving on in life till you got to here now, being an actress, and people would think, that you can't marry them, or you can't do this, or you can't do that, or
Like I said, I don't care.
you don't care.
When I got offered the role in Out of Bounds,
Yes.
the first person I went to was my dad. My
Okay.
dad was my compass.
Okay.
And I said to him, Daddy, he has always known that I have this
So he wasn't
arty
surprised?
side to me. Yes, he wasn't surprised. I said to him, Daddy, I want to do this. He said, my dear daughter, you've come again. Why don't you just stick to your job?
You were working in a bank then?
Not when I did Out of Bounds. I was working, but not in the bank.
In the
When
bank.
I did Out of Bounds, I joined the bank. I'd been in one bank before because my
You've worked,
career,
in,
I think I
you've
did
worked in how many banks?
about
now?
3 or so.
3 banks.
But he said to me, he was talking about this perception you're talking
Yes,
about. He said,
yes.
people, there's so much that is going to put you out there. I know you like your privacy. How are you going to cope? And I said, Daddy, the only thing I will assure you is I won't do anything to bring disrepute to your name. Just please let me do this.
Is it still around?
No.
Oh, it's gone.
Unfortunately, it's gone.
Okay.
I said, please let me do this. And he said, okay, my daughter, you have my support. When I started dreadlocks, in those days, dreadlocks, it wasn't done. I was working in the bank then.
Okay.
I know there were a lot of talk. How can a banker be wearing dreadlocks? But I had the support of my bosses. I remember
Okay.
one of my EDs then said, he told me much later, after he had left the bank, he was a political figure, and he said that he laughed when they came to report to him. He said, as long as she meets her targets,
Yes.
let her carry whatever she wants on her head.
Yes.
So when I did dreadlocks, my mom was always trying to comb it out. She said, how can you?
Is she around?
We lost her.
Oh, so you're
years
orphan
ago.
like
I
me.
am.
To orphan meets orphan.
Yes. So she was always trying to comb it or brush it. How can you be going around with tangled hair? And my dad said, let her be. As long as she looks tidy and decent, let her be. So that's it.
Okay. I think I have a caller there. Hello, good morning. Morning.
Hello, good morning, Uncle Jimmy.
Morning, sir. Who's calling?
Lucky Lola from Magburu.
Lucky Lola, how now?
Fine, Madam Lillian.
How come you are always the first to call all my programs? You have a key. You have a certain key.
That's a story for another day, sir.
I think you have hacked me.
Nothing like that. I'm not trying to. Quickly, sir.
Yeah.
Madam Lillian, I want to ask you, what advice will you give the young ones who want to go into acting and want to blow, as they make it big? That's one. And Uncle Jimmy, please allow me to say this. How I wish Ambode contested for the governorship election under Labour Party. It would have been very interesting. Have a nice day, sir.
Ambode was your classmate, was he?
No, he was my senior.
But it was a senior.
A couple of years my senior in
Okay,
school.
yeah,
Yeah.
okay. But you voted for him when he ran.
Without question.
You did.
I did, and I was proud I did.
Good.
He vindicated us.
Good. So, what he said now, what advice do you have for younger ones?
Good morning, Lucky. Well, I would say to anybody, if you want to go into acting and you want to do it well, if you can, get some training. It helps.
It helps.
It makes it easier to always realize that acting is a career. Take it as seriously as you would take any other profession. Be as professional as you can. Train. It may be formal training, it may be informal. There are so many courses available. Just keep trying to better yourself.
I thought the first thing you would say would be for you to ask yourself if you have the calling. That is where it starts. Some people just see the glamour of the job and okay, so they want to be another Lillian Amah, fame and everything. But some people don't have the calling. Even in our own profession, if you don't have, I didn't train. In fact, I got into radio after I become a pensioner.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, I've always been like a print, and I got into radio by accident. Almost I think in my 60s, no, in my late 50s. I got into radio by sheer accident. Got into radio, and then I will never forget. I have a friend, Johnny Ade. Ade is a pensioner. He used to be executive director in Total, and I used to consult for him when he was in Total. And he said, "Jimi, at last you found yourself." He says he can't believe it. You're natural. So, but it's I thank God I found myself before I died. It's quite fulfilling.
Yeah.
So I think the advice there would be that ask yourself critically, okay? And this applies to every profession. Ask yourself critically. Because somebody has made a success out of it doesn't mean that you would. Because it's hard work.
It is very hard work, but I've also realized that there are some people who are not natural actors.
Yes.
But they train themselves and they
Yes.
become even better than the natural actors.
And there are people who are not natural actors and don't train themselves and they push themselves in. You can see it.
Yeah.
You see, the thing about jobs like yours and ours, acting and broadcasting, is there's nowhere for you to hide.
No.
But you must be worried about the standard of movies. It's improved in certain levels. In some other levels, some movies you can see were shot with some cheap smartphone. You can see the production and so on and so forth. Does that bother you?
Like everything else, there will be the charlatans.
Yes.
Right? And the world is big enough for everybody. I'm not going to
Yes,
carry
sir.
their problem. It doesn't bother me. If
I
that's
guess
what
so.
they want to put out and
Yes,
they're
go
happy
ahead.
with that.
But with the advent of like all the Netflix and all these opportunities that you have who help produce movies and so on and so forth, the industry has grown so much.
Correct.
But is it up to the optimum that's anywhere near the optimum that you think?
Nowhere
We're still
near.
scratching the surface.
Exactly, we're just scratching the surface.
Do banks support movie productions? Can you walk up to a bank and say to a bank, ED, this is my script, go through it. When I come back, I want you to write a check for me. Do you get that?
That would be the joke of the century.
Really?
Some banks have supported movies. I'm sure some of them don't have very good stories to tell. But some of them too, the movies they supported did well. I think the primary thing that mitigates against or that prevents banks from fully supporting the industry is our lack of data. The banks are holding public funds. And they owe a duty to the people who put the money in the banks and their shareholders to ensure they make a profit. It's a business, it's not a charity. So if they have to loan out the money, they have to know how the money will come back. Because if you, for every bad loan, every loan that goes bad,
somebody has to pay for it.
So I think that's the primary reason. But data is coming. We're beginning to get more serious in the industry. People are putting structures in place. So I see that there's a trend now support is coming, not just from the banks, the private sector, individuals. People are beginning to see that they can invest in the space and actually recover their money and make profit.
It's a business.
Yes.
But I wonder how you make the money, though. So, okay, you produce the movie at X million. How long does it take you, on the average, to recoup it? Is it from taking it down the cinema houses or what? How does it
Not
go?
every movie is for the cinema. Some people make for TV.
Oh, the
different platforms. There are
different
different
platforms.
platforms. Yes, there are different platforms.
Which is the most lucrative? I'm thinking of putting. I have some money I inherited. I want to put it. I'm joking.
The traditional process of movies, right? If
Yeah.
you just want to generalize, is you make a movie, it goes to the theaters.
And it says how long there?
Around about 6 weeks if it's doing well. Some have stayed longer than that.
And you can break even at that point.
Oh yeah. If you,
Oh,
if you
really?
go through ComScore, the stuff that gives you the data on cinemas, and
Yes.
some movies in the first week they've crossed 100 million. But
Where's the money coming from?
I must say again that there are very few movies. I don't think they are up to 25.
Can you give me
that have
your
crossed.
account details? I need to sponsor one movie. You get that kind
Oh,
of
would you be-
returns?
Some people do.
Really?
I know Funke Akindele has crossed 600 million twice with her movies.
600 million.
Yes,
How much is
yes.
true?
Yes, but there are very few. But let me tell you how it works.
Yeah.
The more screens you have,
Okay.
that's
Obviously.
why, that's the problem we have in Nigeria. If we had, I think we have maybe 100 and something or 200 and something screens. I don't think we're up to 200. I think it's 190 something screens nationwide. And I'm not saying cinemas screens. A cinema may have 4 screens.
4 screens,
three-
yes.
Now we are 200 million people. Just imagine if we had 1,000 screens. Let's just start from there. If we had 1,000 screens, and we are 200 million, right? Let's even say 1 million people. 1 million out of the 200 million. Go and watch your movie. And average ticket is maybe 3,000 naira. 1,000 times 3,000 times
How many people
1,000.
fill one cinema hall?
There are different numbers.
I mean,
the capacity, you
average.
have 100, you have 80,
80.
you have 150. Depends on the space they have.
I've only been to a cinema once in recent times, apart from the ones I did way back in Casino and things like that when I was young.
Uncle Jimmy, get with the program, please. We need to go to cinemas more.
I said I'm only talking, I'm not saying, because one thing that annoyed me is that we don't have, I didn't see the cinema etiquette. Cinema etiquette demands, when we used to go to movies, you go in and sit down quietly. A lot of people were fidgeting. Somebody was even, I was up there. I went to watch a James Bond movie. I'm a James Bond fan right from when I was. So I couldn't wait. So I went to watch it. And somebody was playing with his phone. And the light of the phone
Was disturbing.
was disturbing. And it was... But I think that maybe I'm just too finicky, and maybe I should have gone to the right cinema. Maybe because it was somewhere in Surulere that I just had to watch that movie. But your movie, for example, is it going to go to Netflix?
If they take it.
Oh, they reject some.
Of course. Do you know the amount of entries they get from across the world? There's only so many they can take.
Okay.
So we need more platforms. We need more streaming platforms. We need more cinemas.
Do we have? Okay, I think we have a local streaming. Showmax is Nigerian, isn't it? I think Showmax. Yes.
Mnet MultiChoice is
Yes.
South African, though
They are
Nigerian.
here.
There's
No,
also
they're
Nigerian,
here. They're here. They're South African, but they are here. My sponsors are also South African, but we are here.
Yeah.
So, all said and done, I'm sure people listening to this program, it will begin to occur to them now, wait a minute, it might be a good idea to look in this industry. But how safe is the investment?
Like every investment, there are risks.
Yes, risk.
Okay?
The risk, of course, is if the movie is not interesting.
You have good movies that didn't do well at the cinema. There are so many factors. For instance, if you do a good movie and you don't back it up with publicity, nobody's going to watch what
It's
they
like
don't know
winking in
about.
the dark.
Yes, so that's one. Another is time of release. If you do a good Nigerian movie and you release it the same week Wakanda is coming out, you're dead.
Yes.
You may get people coming to watch, but you will definitely lose some people.
Like if you release the movie last week Saturday,
You're on your own.
you're on your own.
So there are so many things that affect the performance of a movie. But what any producer owes their investor is first and foremost do a good movie.
So your movie is ready now as we speak. The soup is done.
It's done.
So you're just waiting for the right time to release it. That's right.
Yes, and then we're
Now-
also planning the marketing.
Are you going to have a premiere? Inviting people to
We
watch it?
plan to.
What do you gain from that premiere? Minus publicity, any other thing?
Minus publicity, you could make money. You don't. Most people do not sell tickets to their premiere, but you could
Okay.
get sponsorships.
Yes.
So you get publicity. You could make money, and then more importantly, it's like a
You feel
rap.
good?
It's like a rap party for the cast
Yes.
and crew. It's an opportunity to see what they've done.
So the way it goes, do you have the cocktail before the screening or the cocktail after the screening?
Whichever one you want.
You can't have it before now. Have a cocktail before the screening. Babati more 2 or 3 glasses of champagne, but just fall asleep. Yeah, just fall asleep. I was going to ask you, thank God I remembered. Are you taking this movie abroad, to the cinemas abroad?
We plan to.
You plan to do that?
Yes.
Which countries would you be hitting?
Well, my distribution company has presence in about 5 African countries, presence in the UK,
Because I hear
and presence
movies are
in the
doing-
US.
I hear movies are doing very well in Africa.
Yeah.
You know.
So we plan to touch everywhere we have a presence.
I'm happy to see that Nollywood is one big industry that is growing. I just wish, like I told you off air, that our politicians would just, let's have a peaceful environment. All these things, ethnic this and ethnic that, and fighting and so on and so forth. It doesn't let anybody grow. Young people in this country have massive, not a lot, massive. Look at our musicians.
Doing
Burna
so
Boy,
well.
no, they said they corrected me. I said it's not Davido. Hey, Feta, is it Davido?
Davido.
It's Davido. I called it Davido. You know me. It was Shegu Agbede that corrected me. Ebo, you're an ancient. That guy. Sometimes I feel like knocking, but they say, Ebo, it's not Davido. It's Davido. Davido. Is it P Square? Those two guys.
P Square, the twins.
My God, those guys. I mean, look, hey.
Kiss
walk-
Daniel. There's so many of them.
You walk down the streets of
Tiwa Savage.
Europe, yeah, you hear Nigerian music everywhere.
Yeah.
And I wonder where we would have been if, for God's sake, we had a settled government, well-respected government, very little turmoil.
Uncle Jimmy, who is the government?
It's us.
Exactly. So as a people, we first of all...
So the fault is ours.
It is ours. A country or a community get the leadership they deserve. Because the leaders come from within you.
They say us, don't point at me.
Okay, us.
Let us take joint responsibility.
Yes, okay, come from within us.
No,
and then
just
you
kidding.
see
Yes.
people, even if you're not actively taking part,
Yes.
by aiding and abetting, by keeping quiet, people are
Yes.
justifying the actions
Yes.
of last Saturday.
Yes.
And then tomorrow they will complain about the
Just
country.
like the narrative going around, somebody even said it's the free and fair election. I said, excuse me, with those flaws.
Yeah.
Let's take our last caller for today. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Uncle Jimmy.
Morning, Pastor Ladipo, quickly.
Please, I want to ask your guest, how was she able to manage harassment as
How
a
was she
kind
able
of
to-
harassment within the industry?
How was he able to manage
to
what?
manage harassment? Is there anything like harassment?
Okay.
Becoming an actor, yes.
But are you planning to become an actor, Pastor Ladipo? That's interesting. Yes, there are stories of harassment, especially females, to get a role, just like it happens everywhere in universities, at work. Sexual harassment. Is wondering if you had any. You would have had some.
I can't say I had any harassment. I was an adult when I entered the industry. I wasn't young.
So nobody had the, let me use the Nigerian word, nobody had the liver to harass you.
I'm still waiting for the liver. The person will go get that liver to come. People would make advances.
Advances, yes.
I'm not negating the fact that some people are actively harassed. It does happen.
Yes.
And a lot of people, just like you pointed out in universities, people are held down from achieving their potentials if they don't give in. But what I would say to everybody is decide from the get-go what you're willing to compromise for the success you want.
I hope that, I'm thinking of going to that industry. I hope nobody will harass me. I mean, hey.
They're not a fear face. If they take one look at your face, Uncle Jimi, they will respect themselves.
In these days of LGBT, so I don't want to be harassed by male or female. Lillian, we have 5 more minutes. I'd like to remind you that on Tuesday, Dr. Patu Tommy will be here. On Tuesday, yes, at 9 o'clock. I just want to get a bird's eye view of what actually went down. And so I spoke to him late last night. I spoke to him at about 2 a.m.
That would be an interesting conversation.
Yes. Patu Tommy and I have been friends for and you see, these things that people do. The last time Patu Tommy was here, I deliberately told people the story. In 1987 or so, a multinational was looking for somebody to head the corporate affairs. And because Patu Tommy at that time, he was quick on the draw. He had gone, I think he was deputy MD of Volkswagen or so. They asked him to suggest a name. Now, Patu Tommy is from Delta. They asked him to suggest, from Igbo-speaking area of Delta. They asked him to suggest a name. The late Longa asked him to give him 3 names of somebody who he can recommend to head that place. He gave him only my name. The guy, when he was giving him the name, asked him, "Don't you want to head?" And he said, "Talk to Jimi, he'll do it." And the guy, as soon as when we started speaking, within 20 minutes, he said, "Pat was right." I haven't forgotten that. This divisive thing that we have, he jolly well could have sent any other person's name forward. But he just did it. That's why since then, do you know the irony is that my best friends, most of my best friends are from the East. I tell these stories so that people can know that there was and there is still a Nigeria that we need to keep together. Don't let these politicians divide you over their own ambition. I keep telling them, okay, so if you supported somebody vigorously, not out of conviction, now that the person, if he won, you can't get anywhere near where he is. So that's the end of the story. If he lost, you still can't get anywhere near he is. So it's better you do these things from a conviction, from mind of conviction that I'm doing it for myself and the betterment of my country. I think we need to, you and I probably would get a few people together. Let's even have a small national summit here. Let's start all over again. Whilst they're sorting out the political whatever, we need to get back together again. Yeah. Because the gentleman who won the election, he's won the battle, but he hasn't won the war yet.
Correct.
Yes, and that is going to take a lot of work when he finally settles down.
And a lot of healing.
And healing also is predicated on justice. If a woman is raped and the rapist is not taken to jail, it never leaves her mind. On that point, that's the sound of talking about rape. Thank you very much, Lillian, for coming. It's a pleasure having you. I'd like you to come back when your movie is ready.
Thank you.
Will you invite me to the premiere, though?
Yes, you have an invitation already.
Will I get one or two? Feta, I can't go with you. Why are you so aggressive? Will I have 1 or 2 tickets?
I can give you 2 because you've had me twice on your program.
That's very good. You see? How you are? No, not. I don't want the police running after me, please. Okay, this is where we're going to knock it off. Don't hit yourself up. Okay, let's just sit and relax. Don't die before death comes. So this time next week we'll do what we did last week. I don't know what the timetable is going to be like, but since we won't have any discourse, we'll have other programs during the week. Go out there and vote for who you think, irrespective of where he's coming from, who you think can turn the state around. I always pay homage to Babatunde Fashola. I didn't even know him, but he made my life easy. When I was doing programs in the other station, in Ikoyi station where I was, sometimes I run home to use the toilet in Suluri and come back between 7:30 and 9. I'm finicky about toilet. So he made my life easy. So that's what you should concentrate on, not if he's your kinsman or not. That's for the politicians to sort out. They use us as to prepare the grounds, and then they take the benefits. Your leaders who set you out now are, all kinds of things are going on, and yes, where you are. All right, so thank you very much. Feta, thank you for coming. You're coming on next, aren't you?
Yes, I'm coming.
What's the name of your program?
GX show.
GX.
I'm standing for Onyinye.
What is GX?
GX show.
Is it a new car or something?
It's not a car. It's
Chinese, Korean, or Japanese?
I'm standing in for Onyinye on her show.
Okay, so what is GX?
GX is like Generation GX.
Oh, our generation.
Yes. So
am I a GX?
You seem like you're an X.
Tell me who I am now. Identify me.
No, I think I'd have to check. I'm not sure.
She's too polite. Okay, Lillian, thank you very much for coming. Feta, thanks for coming. I'll see you all on Tuesday. Enjoy your weekend, okay? See you then.
Nigeria Info. We are more than just radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Nigeria Info FM. Check us out on Facebook at Nigeria Info 99.3. Follow us on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM and on Instagram at Nigeria Info FM Lagos for live updates